And live it is. What's up, Sir Legna? How you doing? First, you are first. Let me set up the chat. There we go. Oh, today, I'm tired today. I think I'll make a new random generation dungeon to add. Let's do that while I wait for some people to join and ask any questions they may have. Get a little bit of work done. Let's just, in the dungeons, create a new dungeon. Let's make it a 80 by 80. This will be a big dungeon. Big dungeon. Big boy. We'll specify the battle background after we decide what it's going to look like. I wish I can do control, spacebar, and left click and like zoom in and out like you do in Photoshop. That would be pretty cool. What's up, Aerosys? How you doing? Aerosys, Marcel Aeroca, the plugin developer behind the system that I'm using right now today to essentially make randomly generated dungeons. What's up, Eno? How you doing? So I hear you managed to stream for 5 hours last night. New record? No, the first time we streamed Valheim, it was 5 hours and 10 minutes. Last night it was 5 hours and 1 minute. So, within a year, Drifty will perma-stream. He will never stop streaming. I don't think I can handle that. My back's killing me. Because I have to sit more upright, you know, to get on the microphone. Otherwise, I'd be back here. You guys wouldn't really hear the audio very well. So, you know. I suppose I can like scoot up and kick back more and just kind of curve this in. Oh, that's not too bad. T went shopping. She had to get groceries. We woke up and our town got smashed apart by trolls. We're playing Valheim a lot right now. That's our main gig. That's kind of what T and I do. We get into something really compulsively. I don't know the right word. Like, we go hard at something for a period of time and then we just kind of like put it on the back burner and don't really touch it after a while. That's good in a lot of ways. It sucks in a lot of ways too. But it is what it is. We've learned each other's, like, I guess, psychology of like how we think and behave a little bit. And I think it's just important to come to terms with things, understand, you know, how we're going to behave under certain situations, and just make the best of whatever situation that is. I'm going to be working on my game a little bit, but I'm open to questions or any ideas. We're still keeping the regular time frame. Nothing changes for the MZ thing, but we're adding a new thing. We want to do streaming at night after Lily goes to sleep, and that'll let us you know, that'll let us scratch that other itch that we have. What's up, Toa McDowell? How you doing? He says, I was considering naming my game MZ MV MySQL NodeJS Socket IO, but now that'll just link right to this video. Does it still say soccer? I changed it to socket. I typed the title wrong and I edited it. Question, is that going to interrupt your sleep schedule? No, we're going to go to bed earlier tonight. That was... And this is an anomaly. This is an anomaly. It's not going to be the new norm. It can't be. We'll die. We'll just die miserably. My back's killing me. My throat gets hoarse because we're talking all day. Alright, we'll make this the pink dungeon. I don't know what to call it. So we'll just call it pink dungeon. Pink dungeon time. Maybe we go 70-70. That's kind of rough. Let's do a battle background here. What will be the pink dungeon? Death was my concern. You know, eventually. Yeah. Death comes to us all. Do we have a pink floor? Default RTP? I mean, it's kind of like red brick stone, but that's not it. Nah, dog. I guess we're gonna change the floor to be something different because we need it to match the battle backgrounds unless we make some other assets. What kind of pink backgrounds do we have here? It's not quite that one. That one looks nice to the demonic world. I could always throw one of these in Photoshop and put a hue filter on it to like get the tint I want if I need to do that. Until we get a drifty AI. I'm gonna upload my brain into the mainframe and then you'll be able to interact with me 24/7. Digital me. Digital Drift T. We'll upload both my brain and T's brain into one AI, and it'll just be called Drift D Bot. I guess we're gonna use this kind of red brick stone. That's a damn shame. Like, there's no battle backgrounds for some of this stuff. It's like the pink. I guess you're just gonna have to use your imagination. Stone 2 and stone... Well, okay, hold on. Maybe I can do some photoshopping. Let's look at it a little more. Let's look at it a little more. Oops. It's kind of like a pink cobblestone. And then the floor is like this fleshy thing. I mean, I'm okay with this dungeon. I just need a battle background that'll work. So let's see if we find the right textures, and then I'll just Photoshop edit some stuff. No VTuber avatars? It's too much work. It's kind of like... I don't know. Do you guys need it? Is that going to improve it so much? A lot of people don't even watch. They just listen. How's the audio? Does it sound good? Does it sound okay? What's up, KV? How you doing, KV? There's the stream. KV also is raging in frustration that there's not enough battle backgrounds. We have to go into Photoshop and make a battle background. I say we look here to find one. Not on snippets. Damn it. What is the right floor texture? Regardless of color, we have to find the right texture, and then we'll change the color. Demonic world. Okay, so we're gonna load the demonic world one. And It's the closest. Is there anything closer? Not quite. Poison Swamp, maybe? I don't know, maybe put... No, wait. Road 1? I don't know, I'm thinking it's either Road 1. No, that's more cobblestone. Maybe MV has more battle backs. Yeah, I could bring MV's battle backs in here too. Yeah, probably Toa. I think, you know, we just need more tile sets in general, not just battle backs. So Legna referring to the V avatars, virtual avatars. You find it more distracting than it's worth? Yeah, I won't say they're gonna go away. I don't think they'll be an everyday thing. The stream little arena stream avatar things are pretty cool too. And then the VTuber things, like, there's a lot of bells and whistles, but what I've noticed is they distract from what I'm actually trying to do a lot. I think we're gonna go with Demonic World and make it like pink or something. So let's do that. We're gonna make a new one. Now they've got some kind of lock on these. It doesn't quite do it. So I just copy it and I go new. And I make a brand new one. And I just mess with it there. Because that way it doesn't... It's not like locked on me. All I'm going to do is put some effects on it or something. Oops. Trying to get the right color. That's kind of pink. Is it gonna match close enough? Probably too dark, huh? Needs to be less saturated. What's up, Psycho Gaming? How are you doing today? What's up, Lawrence? Ritano? What is the difference between MV and MZ? This is the most common question I get. Gone over it so many times. MZ is the newer one. MV came out 5 years ago. And MV uses sprite animations. MZ uses particle animations. There's a lot more plugins for MV because it's been out for so much longer. The optimization in MZ is quite better. The plugin command control is way more user friendly. The UI is a little bit better, but it's basically the same as far as the UI is concerned. You have layering on the map. I mean, go watch SRD's video. It's 3 minutes long. It goes over everything that changed in 3 minutes. It's such a good little short video. Doesn't Photoshop have a color picker right off your desktop? I mean, yeah, but like I'm not just like spray painting a color on this map. I'm like adjusting the gamma and hue and saturation and lightness and exposure and then trying to make it look good, not just spray a new color on it. I'm not trying to create anything. I'm trying to manipulate the existing asset. I think it's closer to what we're looking for. Let's go back to then for the wall. What does the wall exactly look like again? It's like a cobblestone wall. So we're gonna get like a cobblestone wall and get that next. It's a very like fleshy color pink. So if I look at this and then I go to Photoshop, that's not fleshy color. It's kind of like a very highly saturated actually. Just not getting it. Beautiful. There it is. Oops. Shit, how do you double undo? Why isn't it doing that? What's up, Aslan? How you doing? Zebelnov Klein prefers MZ. I do too. Here we go. We got some people asking questions. Is it possible to have a combo-based sort of battle system? Say, for instance, you have each character have a combo count of 3, so they can select 3 attacks. Is doing this possible through events? I mean, what kind of battle system are you using? Like, is it turn-based? Are you talking about 8 action battle system? You just mean like a typical turn-based, but like when one person goes, you have 3 of them. I mean, designing a battle system is not something you do in one live stream. Is it possible? Sure, it's possible. I don't have enough information to know what I'm even trying to make with that. Combo count of 3. Yeah, you can make whatever combo count you want. You can select 3 attacks. You know what you should look at, Travado? You should look at the Brave... What's it called? The battle system that one of the more recent battle systems from Vigistella, Bravely Default battle system, where you get like a bunch of turns and then you have to get like your AP points back to get, you can go like 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row. I think that would give you closer to what you're looking for. Check that out. Lauren says, I made so much for MV, it's going to be hard to start again with MZ and do all the stuff. I don't have MZ yet. If you're working in MV and your project's like already doing well and you're in the middle of it, you know, you don't really need to jump to MZ. Wait till you start your next project. I would say eventually you should probably go to MZ, especially, yeah, if you want future Mac compatibility. What's up, Ivan? How do I make an NPC that runs toward a player, initiates an event where it stops the player from passing and forces the player to leave the map to another map? That's my first. That's an easy one. All right, that's my first question. Second, where can I find some free sprites and battlers for historic figures like Napoleon, Hitler? So I don't know. I would try looking at the forums. I don't know who's making those. You might need to make them yourself. If you look really hard, you might find them on the forum somewhere. I don't know. They probably get removed, actually. Third? Oh my god, you came prepared. Marcel Arosis says, all new things of MZ fits on a single sheet of paper, and I can say that because this sheet of paper really exists. How can you make a branching event where if a player answers a wrong answer, he gets a game over event, and if he gets it right, he gets to continue the game? That's super easy. All right, Ivan, I think we can help you a little bit here. For battlers, it's not required to have RPG Maker specific sprites, so you can look for sprites on any site. That's true. What's up, Vaslin? How you doing? I'm trying to catch up on the chat. No, these are okay questions. They fit right on a live stream like this because I can do them kind of quickly. Making a branch is easy. It's one of the fundamental functions. You should know that, yeah. Wish me to get on Discord? Yeah, join us on Discord. Absolutely. I'll show you a little bit. Let me find the right color of this battle background, and then we'll see what I can do from there. No problem, Travado. What's up, Orobi? T's shopping. T had to go get groceries. The boys were saying, we still have a lot of stuff, but you know, if you don't have the one thing that they want, we have nothing in the house. We're starving. There's no food. There's like still like 60 days of rations and food, like still, and you know, but we don't have, you know, milk and sugary cereal, and it's like, we have nothing. There's nothing. No food. Mom, you're starving us. They're so spoiled. They're so spoiled. All right. They have probably a better computer than you. Each of a 10-year-old probably has a better computer than you do. Just keep that in mind when they tell you we're starving, got no food. I don't know. That's not exactly the right color, but I'm just going to save it and move on because, you know, whatever. YOLO. We're going to call it Pink Rocks. The Pink Rocks. Perfect. Beautiful. Oh my god, it's so amazing. So amazing. All right, let's open up. What was the other one? Like a cobblestone or something. Cobblestone wall. Yeah, it was this one, right? I was like, this one might work. Is it kind of like brick like that? No, that's bricks. Corey Davis with a $5 super chat. What's up, Corey? Tronogamming gamer, everybody. Links in the description if you want to check out his stuff. What's up, dude? How are you doing today? Hopefully you're having a good day. If you're driving, hopefully you're having a good drive. He says, lies. I started with game making almost 1 year ago, and doing my game jam is trying to show me that event making is epically hard to do. Yeah, even if you've been doing it for a while, you can still have issues for sure. What's up? He says sup, everybody. Thank you for the $5. Appreciate that, Corey. Should I go to a certain room to find you? I mean, nah, just chat in the RPG Maker and you'll get some people talking. I'm gonna address your question, at least one of your 3 questions, Ivan. Let me finish the line of thought that I was on, and I'll try to help you with one of those events, alright? I don't actually need this. Boom. Right now we're suffering through the lack of battle backgrounds, and we're trying to like Frankenstein one. That's what I'm trying to do here. Frankenstein a battle background that's gonna work for me. I think the rock cave might be the best bet we have, but we need to make it pink. So let's, good luck with that, right? Let's add. First thing we're going to need to do is add some saturation and give it like accent the color. Then we're going to change the hue of this green to like a pinkish color. Then I'm going to add some RGB color curves in here. Make it like a little bit brighter. Definitely want to do a little bit of brightness, some more contrast. And it's kind of gray and we need to make it pink, so we're going to add some saturation and some vibrance. I feel like we need to also do some color balance and add some magenta, maybe some red. No, not red. Yeah, a little red. No. Yellow, blue, yellow. Warp Enigma with a 50 knock super chat. Thank you so much, Warp. How are you doing today? It's good to see you. Thank you for throwing the 50 knock at me. I always like receiving crowns. Hello, world of Driftwood. Whoop whoop. I am good and tired. Me too. How y'all doing? Whoop whoop. Went to bed like at 4 something last night. We're playing Valheim like crazy. It's super fun. The server's down right now because I'm streaming, working, and T's out shopping. But as soon as we're done, we're going to hop back on Valheim. If you play it, you want to join us, we can have up to 10 people playing. And we've got a nice little world-friendly thing. We had a nice mining adventure. We're doing some streams of it at late night. It's a lot of fun. Love to have you come join us. Zabelnov Klein, 15 events. That's amazing. 15,000 events, you mean? What did I miss? Make 50... Oh, Vino saying 15,000 plus events like I have. Then it's easy. That's a lot of events, Vino. Vino says it's not super hard, but you have to spend the time and effort. It is a lot of work. It's not like my brain can't understand it type of work. It's like, oh man, I got to get these rocks up this hill type of work, you know? Neon Genius. That's such a cool title. Poca Latte says, I wish I could be a neon genius like Vino. But I'm just a cart pusher in Valheim. Poca, you're the best cart pusher we've ever had. It was an epic adventure last night. We had a bunch of people mining, and we had one person holding a cart through the forest, the dense forest. It's a fantastic adventure. I don't know. It feels like this is pink and pink enough, maybe. What else can we do here? Did I already change the hue? Yeah. It looks like it's the right hue. Maybe some more pinkish. maybe a little more saturation. No, we've already no, that's right where it needs to be. I mean, let's look at it again. It's not really the same. It's too much saturation. $2 super chat, 2 BGN super chat from Vaslin Ganchev. Thank you so much, Vaslin, for the $2. Appreciate that. Valheim streams were very fun. I'm waiting for the next one tonight. Tonight it won't be as long as we were planning 2 hours and we streamed for 5. So play with the contrast. Let's do that. Let's just go ahead and do that. More contrast, less contrast. Hey, a little bit less contrast actually works. Makes it softer and more pinkish. I think you're right. A little more brightness, less contrast. It does look more pinkish. It's not quite the same, you know what I mean? It's not quite right, but it's the best we're gonna have with manipulating for now. So I think we're gonna call that a victory, and I'm gonna save this as a PNG. Not overwriting the original though. We're gonna call this the Pink Rock Cave. The Pink Rock Cave. Save. Boom. And I want to close it and tell it no, because I don't want it to overwrite the original rock cave. Alright, so now that we've got those in our game, we can finish this original line of thought. Go to the pink dungeon and apply those two as battle backgrounds. Look for the keywords pink, pink rocks, pink rock cave. And you know, it really doesn't blend together that well. I feel like in the other one, I need to drop the saturation a lot. I'm going to do that. And the contrast. Let's go to the saturation and reduce it. And then exposure. Let's drop the... increase the exposure. No, the brightness. Exposure's fine. We need to change the brightness. Brightness is fine. Lower the contrast. Lower the contrast to soften it up. Oh, I closed the other one. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to overwrite. Save this. Dang it, what did I call it? Pink something. Pink rocks. Yeah, I'm gonna overwrite. It's a little softer. Still not quite right, but I think it's more acceptable. Yeah, I think we're just going to go with that for now. Boom. That's our battle background for that. Cool, cool. Yeah, Stoneworks is full of maps. Or 450 events on each map. I know it's flesh pink. Listen, it's hard. Okay. If I change the wall top to a darker red color, then it would help the battle background for better. I think it's fine for now. I'm going to move on. But I thank you so much for the suggestions. I messaged Drifty, but he isn't replying. Ivan, how old are you? Bro, I'm live streaming. I'm not going to go through my messages right now on Discord. This MZ song is very memorable. I put it on my first demo game because it's easy to remember. Yeah, I like the music. MZ's music is fantastic. That's why I chose it as the background for these types of live streams. He's asked questions. I'm going to answer one of them. He's asked a bunch. But there is a lot. There is much more for a pink fleshy color. Look, I know the color's not right. I'll go back to it. I want to answer one of Ivan's questions instead of playing around with this any longer. Yeah, possibly warp. Good suggestion. All right, and before the YouTube gets rid of his question, let me scroll up and find it and get it here. The third one's super easy. Can you make a branching event where a player answers wrong, answer right? I'll do that one first. It's super freaking duper freaking easy. Right, so your question is, how can you make a branching event where if a player answers a wrong answer, he gets a game over event? And if he gets it right, he gets to continue the game. New event, you ask the player question, ask them question here. Most people could probably tell you how to do this. This is why I wanted you to join the Discord, because people can help you with this. You just ask them a question with the show text command, and then you do a conditional branch, right? Well, you're going to actually show choices. So here's the player choice 1, and then choice 2, choice 3, etc., etc. When you want them to have to answer, you have to go to cancel and say disallow. That way, they're forced to answer. No matter what they do, they have to answer. So they can't press escape. They have to say something. And then the default, it doesn't matter. It's like, where do you want the cursor to be at first? Highlighting on the first, second, or third. It just mostly makes sense to put it on the first, usually. You know, obviously, if you want it to be a window, dim, or transparent, this is all arbitrary where you want the box to appear at. Easy stuff, right? So, boom. So now you've got a branching, like, conditional. You're asking them a question, and you're prompting them with some choices, and they have to pick one. So you can say, this is the right, this will also work, and this is game over. Say if they pick choice 3, they game over. There's actually a command that just instantly game overs the game. If you go over here to tab 3, game over. So right here, they, I don't know, they got it right, and they get money. They get 100 billion jillion gold, right? There, they make money. And this one, they don't get money, but they also don't die. And then you make the event. You know, you give them something. It's this character. The triggers, action button if they press enter on them, blah, 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 blah. Right? Easy peasy. That's a super easy event. So let me go to your first question. The second one, I already told you, go look on the forums. I doubt you're going to find stuff like that, those sprites. But try to look on opengameart.org as well. That's another resource, opengameart.org. Okay, your first question was, I want to know how to make an NPC run towards a player, initiate an event when it stops the player from passing, and forces the player to leave the map to another map. Okay, that's easy as well. So this is the event that that is just going to be like show the choice, and if they get the wrong answer, game over. If they get the right, then they get whatever. They don't die. That's the player's starting position. So this event, let's take it the first thing. Run towards the player. That's going to be over here in the autonomous movement. So they've got some built-in code in RPG Maker, luckily, that will cause an event to approach a player. So if you select on type, you go down to approach, and the code will have the NPC walk randomly to the player with some variance. So let's say every 8 steps, they're going to walk to the side off of the random path. Now that's intentional. That way the player, if they have exactly the same move speed and as this event, they can still get away if they're quick enough, because the random approach The approach type autonomous movement has a randomization, so every 8th movement, or 1 out of 8 of the times, it's going to move aside and walk down or walk up or walk to the left, and it won't directly run a straight line, but it will mostly run a straight line toward the player. So that's the first part of your question. It's all in right there, built in, luckily. Then you're saying initiate an event when it stops the player. So that's going to be controlled by the trigger. So right now this event's going to, let's give him a character, whatever, he'll be this guy. Right now he's going to try to approach the player, but nothing will happen when he approaches the player because the trigger is set to action button. In order to make something happen immediately, you have to change the trigger to player touch or event touch. Now, I would recommend event touch for when you're making the event go after the player. And then if you're making it like a tile you want to stand on, I would use player touch. So for this, I'm going to use event touch. So now the contents of this event is going to play whenever the NPC comes in contact with the player. All on its own, it'll do that. It'll try to walk towards the player, and then when it does reach the player, it'll play the contents. Of course, there's no contents, so nothing will happen. Let's continue on with your question. Initiate an event where it stops the player from passing and forces the player to leave the map to another map. So the contents of this event will be a transfer event. So we'll go in here, new transfer event is right here in page 2, transfer player. So then you select where you want them to be transferred to. So let's transfer them to the vendor test map. Boom. We select where we want them to go. We'll say fade to black, go there. Apply that. So let's actually check that out. That should work when we'll talk about one more thing before we do the event. The speed and the frequency. So the speed is how fast the player is going to move. The frequency is how many times a second is it going to move. So the speed is basically it's like how I don't know, it's difficult to say, but let's show you. If I increase the speed to max and the frequency and leave the normal, you're gonna see it might look funny. So you see how he's only moving like normal. His speed is very fast though. His frequency is normal. So the frequency is like how many times a second is he going to move? It looks like he's moving like 1 time a second here. But when he does move, he's going, he's animating, his speed is super duper fast. Maybe that's not what you want. And you see how he's mostly coming toward the player, but he is walking a little bit to the downside, down. He walks around randomly, but he does come toward the player mostly. So he's approaching the player with that. Now, if we were to change it, let's see the transfer event. If he does reach the player, will the transfer event automatically happen? He's got a lot of randomization here. He's mostly coming toward the player, but still not 100%. Boom. And he transferred the player. There we go. All right, let's change that up. A better way to do it is to, make these match, actually. So let's do the opposite. Let's do the frequency to super slow and watch the frequency of normal. Or the speed to super slow. He's going to go like, his animation speed is going to go like, it's going to be very slow. Do you see how it goes that way? So the speed controls the animation and how fast it goes. The frequency is how often does it tick. He's still moving once a second or so. Well, he's actually going a little bit slower on that. I think there are some caps if you have the slowest. That's interesting. But if you want him to chase the player faster, you raise the frequency up. So this is down here. So if we go to the highest frequency, you're going to see that he's going to book it straight to the player. He may be capped by it. The speed has some kind of cap on it. I'm not sure. But we'll go to normal speed and highest frequency. He's going to animate normally, but he's going to book it toward the player. So this is going to look kind of right. Of course, he'll be moving too fast, so it'll be quite annoying for the player to get away. So he's animating, it looks normal, but his frequency is very fast, so he's really coming at the player. So this is probably what you're looking for, right? And the approach is made to not be a direct line. The NPC is supposed to veer off a little bit. That's going to give the player a little bit of leeway to get away. Otherwise, he'll get you quickly. And we got. Does that make sense? If we go speed and frequency higher, there's no cap on it. He's going to really go towards you faster because the frequency's high. But he's also going to animate super fast. You see, he got to you really quick because you're not capped by the animation speed there. He's going to get you. He's faster than you are. You can't get away. So I recommend, like, for each event to play around with the speed and frequency to make it feel what you think is right. If we do speed of normal, or actually let's do the speed of 5, which is twice as fast, and the frequency of 4, which is on higher, I think it might feel challenging but fair. We'll see. I think normal might actually be a better one. Not really that challenging. Trial and error, guys. Trial and error. Frequency of normal and speed of double fast. Let's see what that looks like. Looks stupid. Let's find a good one. Frequency of highest. Speed of normal. Normal speed seems to make the most sense. In probably most cases, normal speed. From my tests, anyway, that's what I think. That seems kind of fair, because if you imagine there's obstacles in the way, this guy would be chasing you, and then you can get around obstacles. Oh, I gotta go around this rock, and then he's gonna, he's still coming at you. And then what if you have multiple events on the map? It'll be hard to dodge them, right? So I feel like that's your sweet spot. Normal and highest, because let's try some things. What if we put obstacles in the way? And then what if we had multiple of these events? Like, this is going to be very hard, even though, like, they're individually not that hard to dodge. With obstacles and multiple events, you can design a challenging... see that we got. Let's try again. I guess we'll try to get to the bottom right or something. Yep. I cheesed it. Still. There we go. I managed to win. Bang. There you go. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. Ivan, ask your questions in the Discord. You don't have to private message me all your questions. There's like so many people that could have taught you this. Like a lot of people would be able to give you that information if you asked. Let me scroll down. Sorry for missing chat. I was trying to finish that line of thought. They can use Alt F4. Zariab, what's up, Zariab? Here to troll, huh? Oh shit, I missed the super chat. Aerosys with a 2 is that euro? 2 euro super chat. Super derper chat. Thank you, Aerosys, Marcel Aeroca. Appreciate the money. MV has inner body battle back. Check it out. That might be really good. We might want to take the MV assets, since I own both of them. You can use them interchangeably, and then use that as the battle background. We can do that. Psycho says, time for Drifty to get into tutorial mode. That happens. That happens. I think it's better if you segment it. You like, okay, we're going to read the chat, look at questions, and then we take something from that, and then we do some, like, look at the screen type of stuff for a few minutes, and we go back and forth. Right? I don't know. I'm always experimenting with pacing and whatnot. MV's music is shit. You don't like it, Borobi? MV's music's alright. You know you like da da na 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 da na 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 na. You don't like that one? Theme 6 forever. It's so loud too. It's always so super loud. KV says, I thought the cancel part of the show choices was basically what choice is selected when you press the cancel button. No. The cancel part is... no, it is. It is, KV. That is right. You are right. But if you choose disallow, that means they cannot press escape, or they cannot cancel out of the menu. So yeah, that's how it works. Right here is what he's talking about. Show choices. So cancel... branch means look at the next show text or show choices, because you can have multiple. They'll be combined with plugins. And so cancel, like, for example, if let's explain how that works on show choice. The question will be like, do you like the color purple? And then the show choices will be there, and you can say yes, no, what is purple, you know, and then you can have different options depending on if it's not an important question, they may just escape out of the question. And what branch do you want it to go down when they escape out? So if they press escape, then they're going to press, then we're going to say that'd be choice 3. So that would be the same as them selecting choice 3 if they press escape or cancel out. So then this would be the cancel right here. So you're right, KV. That's how it works. But what if you don't want to, like, you're at the beginning of the game, you're like, select your class, warrior, wizard, ranger, blah, blah, blah. And they have to pick one, right? What if they cancel out? That would mess up everything. So what that would do is cancel doesn't, like, also what if you accidentally hit the cancel button? Sometimes you want to do that for that reason. So in that instance, your show choice, it would be like, select your class. And then your show choices would be like warrior, wizard, rogue, whatever, right? You would disallow on that type of question. That way hitting escape doesn't make them select any class. They have to pick it. But it's all up to how you want it to look anyway. Like you can totally make it so if they press escape, they're defaulted to the warrior. But that would be kind of, I think that would be wrong. Ivan says, thank you very much, Rifty. I truly appreciate it. You bet, man. Hopefully you can get over your noob virus. Just surround yourself with people who have herd immunity, and the noob virus will wear off quickly. Practice makes perfect. Just keep making games, making events. You'll get better at it. Cancel is what happens when you press escape, says Aerosys. You can disallow it, pick an answer like number 1, number 2, number 3, or make a new branch. That's right. What's up, Felipe? How you doing? Is it possible to make a graphic bar with a variable to control the values? Yeah, we can do that, Philip. Let me catch up on the chat, and if we might take that question. Super Smash, I tried making a shooting mechanic in MV where different teammates had different elements they could shoot, like a fireball or a boulder, and it could be used to solve puzzles or initiate... Oh, that's cool, Super Smash. Anthony Browning says Galv has a plugin for that. Yeah, so I was going to use a plugin as well. I was going to use SRD's Ultra. What's it called? Ultra HUD? HUD Maker. Ultra HUD Maker. For some reason, it's like it doesn't want to move. It's stuck on my other monitor. What if I do Windows key shift left and right? There it is. Can I move it on this monitor? I can. Beautiful. So I was going to use this. Let me catch up on chat though. This is the free software. You can. It also has a paid version, but you can use the free version for it. Super Smash, but what I found was that the projectile would sometimes pass through the enemy or event and not trigger anything. Do you know if there's a plugin to do this or another way of accomplishing it? Handling collisions in RPG Maker isn't the best. I don't know. I would, if you really want to make a game like that, you might want to look into another engine, to be honest. I'm sure there are plugins that would make that better, but really, Game Maker Studio 2 is the way to go for that type of projectile type of game, because it's easy to do in GMS too. I mean, there's a learning curve, and if you've never used it, you'll have to figure it out. It'll take you some days to figure it out, but like once you get the basic understanding of how things work, then it's like you could do that in one day. Like not even like you can get that all set up in maybe an hour if you know what you're doing. So Legna says try a custom move route. Yeah. Wait, what? Is the stream stuttering? KV says it looks normal. Hold on, I got some super chats. $5 super chat from Corey Davis. Thank you so much, Corey. I appreciate that. $5. He says, lies drift. I surround myself with Discord and I'm still a noob. Sometimes you catch a mean strain of that noob virus, Corey. Thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. It takes a while to get that herd immunity. You're doing good, Corey. Don't beat yourself up too hard. Warp Enigma with a 20 knock super chat. Thank you so much. He says, you pro, Corey, you pro. Let me go back up here. Vino says tutorial mode is great. Tutorials help new folks stick with the engine and it brings more blood into the game. Yeah, I mean, this is a necessity, really. This is what this channel was started out as, except it wasn't live. It was like someone would message me and I'm like, oh, how do I explain it? Let me just show you. And then I made like a 5-minute video and then they're like, oh, that's cool, thanks. And then they stick around and they message me more, and that's what built the community. People asking RPG Maker questions and giving me a lot of good ideas too for my games. So people ask good questions. And I don't, it's not that I have all the answers. It's like, it forces me to think. I'm like, how would I do that? And then I have to research and figure it out. And then when I do, to show them how, I am also improved by it. So it helps me as well. It's good to stay connected and it does help new people not just give up immediately because they can see someone's there to talk to them and ask them. It's like the Nintendo helpline from 20, 30 years ago. You call them and they're like helping you with your specific issue. I never called them, but like I knew about them before the internet was like widely used. Now you just go on the internet and type in what you want, you find it. You can use the assets of each interchangeably. That's right, KV. You can, if you own MV and MZ, you can use MV's assets inside of your MZ game and vice versa. Super Smash says there are a lot of built-in things in MZ that should have been in MV. More battle engines, mapping, it has layers, stuff like that. Yeah, I think every iteration's getting better. It's definitely making steps in the right directions, and they're trying to improve it. The team behind it is constantly doing research and development and trying to figure out what's best. I will say that there's some exciting stuff coming up. People are going to really love. I can't say anything else besides that. Once they're in, people are going to be like, why wasn't this always at this? Why wasn't it like this always? Yeah, it's great. GM Carl Hyde says if the triggers aren't moving, you could set up an event system that checks for the location of the object rather than using collisions. I mean, that's how you have to do collisions, GM Carl. You have to do trackers. You track X and Y of each event and the player, and then you run conditionals on if those numbers match up. Because there is no real collision checking that I know of. All the other collision checking is checking the X and the Ys, not like if this object is next to this object. But in other engines, it's quite often, it's like checking, is this object in the vicinity of this object? And if it has to move, it has to check the location that it's going to be moving into in the next frame to see if it will collide, and then to make an exception handler for if it does collide, then do this. So it handles collision much different. There is the like event touch, player touch, but that's also, I don't know for sure, but I believe that's also just checking X and Ys. Where are you even reading? I'm confused. Sorry, Waffles. You know, I go into tutorial mode and then I come back and there's some more text I've got to read. So I'm a little behind, but I'm catching up. I'm catching up. When are you going to hop on Valheim with us? Who are you talking to, Waffles? Sir Legna? Yeah, we have room for more people in Valheim. It'd be fun. David Slaughter. You can't spell slaughter without laughter. Could RPG Maker be used for a game that has more survival aspects like farming or food to regen your health, etc.? Yeah, you totally can. Or is it literally just for RPG? No, you can do all types of games with it. It's not the best for like platformers or for like handling collision stuff, but it's perfectly capable of making good farming sim games like that. Totally. There's been a few good ones, farming type games made with RPG Makers. It's a good engine for that, yeah. Like a Stardew Valley type of thing, for sure. No problem, Super Smash. Got that insider knowledge? I'm not supposed to have it, but I eavesdrop. But, you know, with the power of knowledge comes responsibility and blah, blah, blah. And I just can't say anything, sorry. You'd really want to script your own collision system. Zeriab's right. You'd want to handle it yourself, probably. If you want it to encounter... Because when you encounter a bug, you're going to be like, well, the plugin doesn't do this. And, you know, good luck reaching out to the dev and making them do your work. Because devs are already working super hard on their plugins. And they're not very likely to change their code to conform to your way of building the game, and it just doesn't happen unless you throw a lot of money at it. Even then, people are like, I don't care, I'm too busy. VR in RPG Maker, that would be legit. They have to do like the 3D Smile Game Builder looking like type of thing. I hope they do that. That would be sick. And like a new version, or like obviously it won't be in MZ. That's not going to happen. I don't see it happening anyway. But it would be pretty tight if the next one had like a 3D 2.5D thing. Maybe even if it was like a not Bravely Default. What was the new one? Octopath. If it was like if they made like an Octopath Traveler type style, that would be pretty sick. Making maps like that. I don't want to play Resident Evil in VR. Forget that, man. I don't know if my heart is strong enough to take that. VR is great, but like the first day is hard. Like you're not going to be able to do much VR in your first day. Well, maybe you would. I was unable to. Like I played Beat Saber for like 20 minutes and I was like, whoa, bro. I need to sit down and like not do anything but drink water for just a little bit. It wasn't that bad, but it was like I couldn't keep playing. And so the next day it was a lot easier. And then the day after that, it was a lot easier. And now I can play Beat Saber and not get disoriented and play for like an hour if the battery's charged and whatnot. We plug it in now so it stays charged. Absolutely, sir. Like if they do a 3D type of thing, they would have to make it as an option so that their 2D stuff sticks around and stays there. We have a big titty vampire lady now. Imagine that in VR. Yeah, Octopath is pretty good. I didn't buy it. I don't have it, but I bought it for T, and she enjoys it. She says it's pretty good. VR isn't good for the old people. All right, so I think we got a good question up at the top. I'm gonna go back to it. See, it was about using a variable. Who asked that question? Using a variable to control like a bar inside of the engine. It's not hard to do something like that. I actually already did that in a tutorial like a month ago or so. Do I still have it in here? The stamina bar. Yeah, that's gonna be easy to show. I forgot who asked. Let me know. Sorry about that. Someone asked how to do like a bar, a variable bar that you control with a variable in the game. So I recommend you download HUDmaker Ultra. You don't need the $40 version to do this, but you can get it. It's really a good program if you plan to make like lots of good GUI updates. A $5 super chat from Vino. Thank you, Vino. Appreciate that. He says, I shall patiently await the epic day I get to play Legends of Driftwood 2, the MMO with VR, 60 new battle systems, and procedurally generated worlds. I don't think that's going to happen, Vino. And it definitely won't be called Legend of Driftwood 2. But it will have multiplayer aspects. I don't think the MMO is really going to stick, but maybe it will have multiplayer aspects. All right, so if you get HUDmaker Ultra Pro, I mean, I'm not going to do the full tutorial on how to use this exactly. There are tutorials out there how to get started. Once you get it started, you get your project loaded in here. You're going to basically have your map HUD and a battle HUD. You won't have custom HUD unless you make it, and you can't make it unless you buy the $40 version. So we're going to stick to just the map HUD. So we've got our stamina bar here and the stamina text on top of it. By creating a new component, you can add that in there. I created a basic gauge HUD component, heads up display. So you click on that and you're going to do a gauge right there. So you click on gauge and then you give it a name. This name is going to show what it looks like in this little component list. and then you have display conditions. So you can see here that this bar will not show unless the stamina gauge switch is on. Now, if you add a switch you name a switch inside your game, it won't update inside the HUD maker until you click reload project. So you just hit this little purple circle, and then all of the things will be reloaded. So if I were to go into the game and make a new switch and call switch 11 something something, and then I go back into the HUD maker, if you hit the little purple reload, it automatically will put that data in, and it's pretty cool. So the first one, we set our display conditions, and you're going to use one switch to decide when the bar is shown and when it is not shown. So the position, you can put in the numbers for the position, or you can just left click and drag it around and select where you want it to appear on the screen. The same thing with the width and height. You can decide how big the box is, or you can just like drag it out, and you don't have to put numbers in really. Rotation, opacity, it's pretty simple. You just play with these numbers until you get what you want. And now the hard part, well, not really hard, but the part that is like I guess the most complicated, and it's very easy still. Inside the gauge properties, you're going to use two things. You're going to use a variable to control where it's at, and then you're going to use a variable to control the maximum. Now, if the maximum is a static number, you only need one variable. So I think in this instance, we're using game variables 99, and we're using a static maximum of 100. So the stamina will always be something from whatever 0 to 100, and so you just have to manipulate that value in the game. So the thing about this one is you go to code and you type in code, and you're going to type in return $gamevariables.value, and the number you pick right here is the variable that you want to use to control how full the bar is. I'm using 99, but it doesn't matter. You can use whatever one you want. And so that's right there on that code tab. Boom. And then the gauge maximum right here, you would use your second variable using code, or you just put in a static number. You would do the same thing, return a game variable for, whatever. I'm just going to make sure that this is going to be 100, and so I don't need a variable to just set it to 100. Just say manually say it's going to be maximum 100. Then you select the color. You just pick a color. Easy. Bada boom. You can even add display properties to it and make it bounce and fluctuate and all that stuff, but let's just get it drawn first. So it won't show unless you have the display conditions on, so we have to in-game turn on switch 10. Then we have the text. If you want it to say stamina on top, you have to make a new component, and this time it's a simple text HUD component. So you select text on the plus here, and you select text. And inside there, you give it the text name. The name is going to be what it shows up in the component list. The same thing, display conditions, whether this shows up on the screen or not, is going to be based on if we have switch 10 on, which you can have as many or as few conditions as you want. Same thing for the X position. All this stuff, it's the same. You just basically drag it, drop it where you want, resize it like with the GUI, or if you know the numbers, you can put in the numbers. Now this right here, this text is going to be what what text is actually drawn inside the game. So this, I just wanted to be capital and say stamina, so it'll be stamina. Then you select the font you want, the size of font, the outline. You have a lot of control over it. The color and then the outline color. You can add properties to it to make it like pulse or change color or do whatever you want. You hit OK. And then the draw order also matters because I'm doing the stamina text on top of, well, it's going to draw things in order from this to this. So it's going to do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And because it's drawing the stamina bar first, and then it's drawing the text on top of it, you will see the stamina show up and not be hidden by the bar. And once you understand how that works, you know that if you want it to be on top of the screen, it needs to be on the bottom of the component list. Simple as that. So these two won't turn on unless switch 10 is on, but this is the map HUD, which should be activated from the beginning as long as the plugins are on. So you got the software installed. Let's make an event that will turn on the switch. When you talk to this one, it'll do a conditional branch, and it'll say, is switch 10 turned on with an else branch? Then if it is, we will turn it off. Control switches, switch 10, off. Otherwise, we will control variable switches, and we will turn it on. Simple as that. You can also do a show text, turn switch gauge on or off, and then you can just do, but I like this, so you just enter it once and it'll just off, on. A basic switch trigger right here. We'll set that to action button, blah, 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 boom, boom. So she'll be there. She's going to control our event. We do need to delete all of these guys that is going to try to transfer us off of the map. I'll just leave one guy over here blocked in by mountains, and then we'll have no problem with him. He's just going to run back and forth trying to get us. I don't know if I have the plugins turned on right now, do I? They are. They're turned on. Okay. So now, when we talk to this event, it will turn on the stamina bar. And you see the stamina bar is on the map now, but I forgot to make an event to change the variable, but we can also just do the console and change the variable in the console since we're just play testing and stuff. The errors you're getting is because the server isn't running, so let me actually start this is a multiplayer game, and it's actually set up in a way that'll connect to a server and store data on the server already. This isn't relevant to the tutorial, but it's going to help me not look at a bunch of errors, so just let me set up this real quick. Can't see. I'm using NodeJS to run as the runtime environment to run an application and connect. So now the server is running, and you can see that I put in some code to let the player know that they've been connected. This is all debug stuff. It won't actually be in the game. You don't really see that stuff. And we got a ping. Okay, the server's on. The database server is not actually live. So I need to start that too, because that's just the Socket.io server that's running. I'm running a Socket.io server with this. That's the communication, the input, output type of thing. But then the database is a SQL server. And once this is up and running, any data that is told to save will save to a database. So this is the database. And then we have the actual network that's talking between the client and the server. And then here's the client. And now you can see that the errors went away because we got a connection. But now that we're in the console, we have the stamina gauge, right? And all you have to do is change that variable however you want, and it'll update the stamina gauge. So I'm going to just do that manually. Game variables dot value. I could just write an event to do this too. We use 99, so we're going to use set value. Set value. We're going to change 99 to be at 100. We're going to fill up that bar. And you can see the stamina gauge filled up there. It was at 0 because all variables are 0 from the beginning, and then we set it to 100 and the stamina gauge filled up instantly. Vino with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Vino. Appreciate that money, man. He says, pro tip / reminder on Fire, HUDmaker allows you to share elements or groups with friends. If you Control-C, copy something, you can DM it to others to use. Exactly. So if I were to show you, I could just Control-C this and paste it in here for someone to see. That's way too many letters for that. I was trying to put this inside the live chat. But what I'll do instead is I'll put this inside of RPG Maker MV chat. Live stream question copy paste code. So you can literally copy the code that I put in here and paste that in there for you. Pop, pop, pop. Boom. You can just copy this code and then go inside the component list right here and press Control V, and it will paste the stamina bar as I created it. Now here's for the text. I'm going to copy the one for the text too. Control C. Vino, this is a very good tip. SRD made a really good application. And there's for the text. So the first one this is the stamina bar. Okay, let's go to the bottom and say submit. And then in here, edit this one at the top. I'm going to say this is the text that goes on top of it. But under it in the component list. Component list. So now you don't even have to design it. You can just copy this text and paste it inside of here. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. I went to... Hey, what's up, dude? Let me give you the member status. Welcome. Whoever asked this question, I'm sorry, I forgot who asked it. But copy this, and then you paste it inside of here. And it'll create that. And then you can copy this next one and paste it underneath it, and it'll display the stamina on top. Now, there is a problem. If you do not have the font that I'm using, you'll have to change the font. So that could be an issue. I'm using a font that I may have that you don't have, that you may not have. So if I'm using a font that you don't have, it may not work right. So you just go in there and change the font. Easy peasy. You got it. Super peasy easy. Right? Now let's do something cool. Let's make an event in the game that causes the stamina to go down. Alright, so instead of this guy making your stamina go down, what we'll do is have the variable 99 slightly dip. So we'll have, we'll say subtract 1 whenever the player gets hit by this guy. And we'll let him out of his cage. Boom, 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 boom. He's coming out of the cage to get you. And if he collides with you, now your stamina bar is going to go down. But let's do an auto run event that happens. Actually, let's make a... Yeah, let's do an auto run event. We'll talk about auto run events real quick too. You make a new event, and on the trigger auto run, which means it's going to happen as soon as this page starts. We're going to make the variable, game variable 99, go to 100. So right when you get on this map, your stamina is going to be set to full. But this is going to lock up the game if we don't erase this event. We have to decide, do we want this to happen one time in the game, or do we want this to happen every time you enter the map? If we want it to happen one time, then we would self-switch A, and we'd do a new page that would require self-switch A beyond, and trigger this to action button, and then it will set your stamina gauge to 100 a single time, only one time, and if you leave the map and come back, it doesn't do this again. So that's how you would do that. Remember the order of precedence here. It will always try to play the highest number page unless the conditions are not met. So at the beginning of the game, it's going to try to play page 2. But the self-switch A of this event isn't on. So it's going to say, well, we cannot play page 2. Let's try to play page 1. So if I were to uncheck this box, none of this would happen because it meets the condition of page 2 and it will never go to page 1. So we make conditions for that, and that's how the progress will go. But I'm going to delete this page because I'm going to show you another way. You don't have to have 2 pages if you want this event to run every time you enter the map. There's another cool command called erase event, and it sounds scary, and you're like, I don't want it to delete my event. I just made this event. It doesn't actually remove the event. Like the in your engine, it'll stay here. But when you're the game player, it will cause it to auto run or run whenever the trigger is played. And when the contents get to erase event, it removes this event and the auto run will no longer be playing. But if you leave the map and come back, the event is still there loading from the game map. So this is the way you make it repeat. So let's leave it like this. This is easier. Every time you come to this map, you get 100 stamina, and whenever this guy touches you, because we're using event touch and he's approaching the player, you're going to lose 1 stamina. Let's make another condition. Let's make it so when it switches to the next page, or we'll leave it like that. Let's make another parallel process event. This is going to be, I guess it's good to talk about the difference between auto run and parallel. Parallel will constantly be running. And auto run will run and it won't let anything happen until that's done. Parallel runs on the side. It runs while everything else is also running. So we're going to do an auto run that erases event, and then we're also going to do a parallel, which they're going to run together. The first time the auto run is going to run before, and then the parallel will run after that every time, every frame essentially. So what we're going to do with this parallel event, parallels don't typically lock up your game. Too many of them will lag it, but they will not lock up your game usually. And auto runs will typically lock up your game. So this parallel is just going to run a check. It's going to see if your stamina is 0. So if your stamina gauge gets to 0, it's going to be game over. So this is we're going to run a test. We're going to see if this parallel will run before the auto run event. Because remember, all variables are 0 from the beginning. So when we load the map, this variable is going to be 0, and this event will game over. But we have an auto run that's happening, and the auto run says make it 100. So we're going to see what happens. Basically, we'll just do game over. Like, you lost all your stamina, and you died. And we don't need to change the page or anything. We need to do a condition... actually, hold on, I did this wrong. Not control variables. You need to do a conditional branch. I'm getting myself confused. Conditional branch for stamina gauge. If this is equal to 0, we'll say if it is, excuse me, less than equal to 0, then we're going to game over. Let me get a sip of water. If it's less than equal to 0, it'll game over. But it's a parallel, it shouldn't lock up the game, and it'll just check. So we might instantly game over if the parallel will run before the auto run event. If the parallel runs after the auto run event, then it will only game over once it hits 0 the second time. Boom. Do you see how that works? The auto run will say, wait a minute, this has to happen first. Well, we need to do one more thing. Since I didn't toggle that switch on, what I'm going to do is take this events commands that turns on the switch, and we're going to have it, we'll leave her there to toggle it off, but the auto run is also going to turn on the switch that shows it. So it shows it at the beginning and it sets it to 100. So the auto run is happening before the parallel even gets a frame in. Because if the parallel got one frame in before that auto run, it would game over the game. And because the variable is 0 from the beginning, and you can see that by the illustration of, you see how it's touching every frame that the event is touching the player. You're draining 1. So every time he touches the player, he's draining your stamina by the number of frames that he's contacted the player. And eventually, if our stamina gets 0, the parallel process kicks in, and it games over. Remember, auto run will happen before your parallels. Auto run can lock up your game if you don't deal with the page control or you do an erase event. Anyway, I'm going to read the chat and then we'll see where we're at from there. The Magic Hat 77. Hey, how you doing, man? Just bought MZ 12 hours ago. That's some hype, boy. Did you get it on the Dejica shop? I think it's like $65 on the Dejica shop. The sale might be over. I'm not sure. I haven't checked it today. It was only a short sale, but MV was up for $12 and MZ was $65. So they had some big sales on the Dejica shop. You guys want to keep an eye on the Dejica shop. Welcome, new blood, says Waffles. You must sacrifice. No, you don't have to do that. No, the font. Not the font, no. Waffle says, also never trust Vino. Andrew Purcell agrees HUD Maker is amazing. Highly recommend the paid version. Totally changes what you can do with RPG Maker. I love the HUD Maker. I use it whenever I'm changing any of my heads-up displays or my graphical user interfaces. It's a really cool program that goes alongside of the engine. I think the engine needs tools like the HUD Maker. It makes the entire package a better deal. So the RPG Maker MZ is better because of the HUD Maker, and I hope people can just see that on some level. MZ says, or Zariab says, in MZ, say that you have an auto run event set up, fog and such. Do you still get a frame where it isn't set up? No, there shouldn't be, unless it's just laggy and there's other things that are lagging. Auto run should just happen. And Zariab, if it doesn't, then just start with it, fade out, and then transfer. Or, you know, you can set it up so that the player doesn't see the map without fog for a frame. There's a way to do it. You fade out the screen, you let it load, you fade it back in with some weights and stuff. You fade out, let it do the thing, and then put an artificial 15 frame wait or 5 frame wait, and then fade in, and then they won't see that for a frame. You just have to set up your events right. And remember, sometimes you have to set up an event on another map, then transfer with, you do the fade out on a different map, transfer while they're faded out, and then handle all of the processing and then fade in once it's done. If you're a good game dev and you understand how events work, that'll never be a problem for you. Sir Legna says, oh my gosh, I just realized there isn't a restore erase event command. New plugin idea. There you go, Sir Legna. Can I sacrifice someone else's child? No, don't do that either. Auto run freezes everything. Parallels run always. And auto runs will take precedence too. If you have parallels and auto runs on your map, it should try to do the auto runs first, as we just demonstrated. Otherwise, the parallel that checks to see if a variable is 0 would game over you before anything happens, but it didn't because the auto run ran first and set it to 100 even though it started at 0. What about an erase event plugin command that actually deletes the event? That's a terrible troll move, Zariab. No way. You got it on Steam during a midweek sale? Awesome. Good job. Artist Travano says, hey Drifty, here's a question not specific to RPG Maker. What is a good way to go about planning a project like story, characters, gameplay, etc.? Also, can HUD Maker change the menus? HUD Maker can change the menus if you want to redesign them. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily... I don't think it changes game scene or scene menu. $ scene or it's not even $. Yeah, it's just scene menu. But you can disable the menu and create your entire new menu by binding keys. So you just change the hotkeys, you disable things and change the hotkeys. So the hotkeys that would normally open up the default menu doesn't open up that menu. Instead, it opens up whatever switch you turn on that pops up your menu. So you can completely customize the menus 100%. Oh, your first question. How do you go about planning a project? Google Docs. Use a Google Doc. I like using Google Docs. I have a tab that's got a bunch of Google Docs in it. Like, I have this one. I haven't done this game yet, but I've been writing stuff for this game for a little while. And, you know, just use Google Docs. I would recommend doing that. And you can use spreadsheets for, like, if you want to set levels and stats for a character before you actually go into the game and do it. You can use Google Sheets. So you use Google Docs and Google Sheets. I mean, that's the best, easiest route. You can use other programs to help your storyline and stuff, but you don't really need to. Actually, for branching dialogue, there's another application. Does anybody remember the name of the application that helps you write your storylines? It's like a software like... I forgot the name of it, but let me just open up and kind of draw it for you. I guess this will work. It's like you get to create new bubbles, and then you put text in here, and then new bubbles and text in here, and then, like, say this one branches, and you can put a bubble here that could be more text, and this is also more text, and then these can branch into 3 different things or 2 things here, and text like that. I forgot the name of it, but there's an application. I don't really use it because I feel like it's just extra work. But, like, there's a Twine. It's called Twine. Thank you, guys. Check out Twine if you want to handle the storyline progression like that. Yeah. Waffles is going to nap and then jump on Valheim. Give me some 10. We're going to go mining again. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get everybody into some bronze gear. We made Vero a sword last night. Well, it was actually 4 in the morning. I made a mace. I made a cultivator so that we can do some more farming for everybody. We still have like, I don't know, 30 bars that we can make for to get people suited up. We're going to go mining for some more. The server's not running because they're waiting for T to get back from a grocery store. And I'm going to hop on as soon as the stream ends, probably. I got to go pee. I know Lily's going to wake up soon. We're going to end the stream pretty soon. Play some Valheim. We're going to be streaming Valheim tonight. If you guys want to tune in, do that for a couple hours. But we're going to be playing most of the day, probably. I'll read the chat, catch up real quick. What's up, DJ990? How are you doing today? Wrath of Woods parallels are sweet. I have a habit of running too many at a time. Well, if you optimize them and you put weights, it doesn't cause that big of a problem. The problem is people will make an auto run like this. This is a common event, but you can make these run as parallel too. And then whenever a switch is on, like we'll say if the stamina gauge is on, then this parallel process will happen. One of the biggest problems that people do is like they'll say, I want it to do a thing here, and then like it's like do thing, and they do the thing, and then they leave it like that. And so what's going to happen is they're going to try to do this thing constantly, every frame, multiple times. So what you have to do is do like this. Put in a simple wait, like 2 frames or 1 frame. Just doing that. Because it's a parallel, it's not going to lock up your game. All that's going to happen is it's going to wait at least a frame to try to do it again. You can even make it say, this only needs to happen like 10 times a second, right? So you'll do wait 6. And then 10 times a second, it's going to try to check for this thing. And that will optimize it immensely. So if you're doing parallel processes and you're having a problem with optimization, consider adding a simple wait 1 frame, wait 5 frames, wait 10 frames even. Depending on what the event is, you may need it to check every frame. So then you can still optimize by just telling it, forcing it to wait 1 frame. Because sometimes it's weird. And it won't. So just force it to wait a frame, and then it'll be way, way more optimized. So that's a little pro tip for you. What's up, Arax? My Effectsier won't work in MZ. Maybe you have to configure the files better, correctly. Sometimes it's weird. It took me a while to get the... If I go to my animations... Hey, honey.
Hello.
T made it. She's done shopping.
Oh my god, it's a sauna in here.
It is so hot. I know. I have the window open, but it's still super duper hot. So, did I put any of my custom ones in here? I didn't make very many. These are, yeah. I removed the ones that were really stupid and weird. Hold on, let me see if I have those special particle types in here. Getting them to show is a pain in the ass, I'll admit. It's not necessarily easy. I wish there was somebody who was like, I'm going to show everybody how to use Effectsier better. Even T did like a tutorial list, but she was like, I mean, it took a lot of effort and time, and she was working on it for a while.
We had other things going on too.
And we were doing other stuff. Effectsier is definitely a challenge. There are some animation packs. Look up Manu Gaming. What is his name? Manu Creations?
Manu Gaming.
Manu Gaming?
Yeah, I think so.
Manu. I always go by Manu, but I always refer to him as Manu, is what I should say.
M-A-N-U.
M-A-N-U. He's got some animation packs. I think it was Nowis put out some animation.
Nowis put a couple out, yep.
Did Human put out some?
I don't think so.
There's some packs out there. There's not a lot though. Anyway, we're going to end the stream. Let me catch up on the chat. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. I like the engagement. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. Anthony Browning, pick up Valheim and send us a message. You're going to love it. It's even people who don't like this type of game, have expressed that they really, really like it. I don't play very many 3D games, and I love Valheim. It's so good. It's like a lot of other games, but this game gets it right.
Yeah, it's done right. They really did it right, and it's only 5 people, which is just absolutely
Team of
astounding.
5, they've sold almost 6 million copies now. And that's an indie studio success story if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, join us on Discord, all the other things, follow us on Twitter, join us back us on Patreon if you can.
Do the stuff.
Do the stuff. Love you guys. We'll see you tonight. We're going to be streaming Valheim, but the server's going live right now. Join us in the multiplayer chat if you want to join.
That's right. The neck snapper has returned.
The next snapper. Oh,
And
yeah.
the cart master said that.
Polka Latte's our cart master.
Yeah, Pocolate is a massively good cart master. It was crazy. We put that cart through yesterday.
Oh, it's funny as hell, too. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.